I mean, I remember there was a time when Public Enemy was the hottest shit in the world.
For white people, black people, everybody.
Didn't matter. They were opening up for U2, which and this was at U2's height. As big as U2 is right now, nowhere near how big U2 was in the 90s.
Like Public Enemy was a phenomenon. Yeah. And for me, that's one of my all-time, Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back is one of my all-time favorite hip-hop albums, hands down.
And then Fear of a Black Planet came in, and that was a really strong album.
That was a strong, but to me, if I had to go Thriller off the wall, I'm going Nation of Millions before Fear of a Black Planet.
Okay, I think Nation of Millions was a stronger album than Fear of a Black Planet. But there was, like, I remember during that time, it was whack to floss.
Right.
Like, because you had the time before that when you had like the Eric B and Rakim and the huge gold chains and everything else like that.
That's when you wanted to have that shit.
You wanted that shit. You know, you had the Mercedes-Benz emblem, you know what I mean, on a huge rope chain. And then when Public Enemy, Brand Nubian, you know, it was cool to wear an African medallion. You know?
I took my jewelry off at that time.
Okay, so you were wearing, so you were part of that. You were wearing your jewelry.
And took it off. You look in our first video, Feel So Good, you know, I still had, we started rocking a combination. Like I still was rocking like a gold big ass ring, and I had a little bracelet on. Pooh-Bah had a chain on, that was mine. And but then after that, we didn't rock no jewels at all. It was like, yo, fuck that. But because we still was molding our image at that time or whatever. But we knew that, we don't want to represent that drug dealer type of look. Like, you know what I mean? We want to be on some positive shit.
Right, and I remember De La Soul dropped Me, Myself, and I, and it was almost like a denouncement of that whole thing. You know what I mean? Like they came in looking more like hippies.
Right.
You know, but wearing like the leather, it was like leather African medallions.
See, we wanted to find a middle ground between, you know, because when Tip and them first came out, they was dressing real crazy to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, okay. So we was somewhere like, we dig that, but that's not fully us. Like, you know what I mean? We're somewhere in the middle, and we found our lane, like, you know, as far as style goes.
Right. But then at one point, it moved away from that. I think when N.W.A. started to really hit. And then they had the chains.
Right, exactly.
They had the rope chains, which was kind of like an East Coast
reminiscent
thing.
of the 80s and all that.
Of the 80s.
Right.
But then when N.W.A. dropped, it sort of eclipsed everything else in hip hop. Because there was such a focus on that. And then, it's pretty much
where did the
that way
focus
ever
come
since.
from? Who put the focus on that? That's what you need to ask. Because it wasn't necessarily just the whole country. I know plenty of people over here that didn't fuck with N.W.A. at that time.
I mean, number one, you can't deny the quality of the music. You can't deny the quality of the production. I mean, you could just look at Dr. Dre's legacy. You could look at Ice Cube's legacy. I mean, you could look at how important Eazy-E is today, you know, regardless of the movie, you know, the impact that Eazy-E continued to have with Bone Thugs and Harmony and everything else like that. The music was so good that you fucked with it. You know, Ice-T was out and Ice-T was cool, but he didn't have the production quality of N.W.A. N.W.A. I mean, Dr. Dre was on a different space, was on a different level. And I think that was part of it. You know, part of the shift was like, well, this shit is hot. This shit is hot. And remember, there was like this, and I think right around that time, okay, see, now I'm starting to think. Right around that time, it was this East Coast, West Coast thing where like an East Coast artist couldn't go platinum. Nas didn't go platinum with Illmatic. And that was considered the epitome of East Coast hip hop.
Yeah, there was a lot of bootlegging at that
It was a
time.
lot of bootlegging, but bootlegging wasn't stretching to the West Coast. Like, I mean, because I grew up there. Like, it wasn't on that level. We were still essentially buying albums. It was just such a focus on, you know, like the West Coast had the spotlight at that point. You know, it just was what it was. And Illmatic, I thought, was one of the greatest hip hop albums ever. It's top 5 for me. Might even be top 3. You know?
Can't disagree.
But I mean, at the end of the day, if this shit is selling, for whatever reason, companies are going to shift towards that. And there's going to be more of a push towards that. And certain things are going to be, you know.
But the conscious shit was selling. Public Enemy was selling. So why wasn't there a big shift?
Public Enemy was selling, but Public Enemy was like the one group that was really selling through the roof. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was like Poor Righteous Teachers weren't selling like that. I mean, I bought the album.
That was a different thing, though. Like it was.
You know, X-Clan wasn't selling like that. I mean, what did All for One go platinum, gold?
Supposedly not. But seriously, we really came up in the time of bootlegging, like when it was at its height. And I think they try to neutralize us because supposedly we got to like 460 something, and then it just magically stopped. Like, come on, although everybody and their mama had the tape, bought it more than once and all this type of shit.
I bought the album.
Yeah, and you might have bought it more than once. Everybody got a story about how the tape got stolen or they played it so many times where it popped and they had to get another one. So how the fuck we ain't at least go gold?
Yeah. And it was a 5-mic album back when 5 mics actually mattered.
Come on, man. But if we back then to go gold or platinum was the equivalent of political power. You see, and it still is today, kind of. When you go gold or platinum, that means you have influence.
Right.
And they don't want certain people to have that type of political power, that type of influence on the masses, where if they say something, people's gonna listen.
I just interviewed Killer Mike, and we talked about why more rappers don't step into the political arena.
I mean, that's what people do. Rappers are just people.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
rappers
no,
are just
but
people.
these are people with a tremendous amount of influence and reach.
You have a tremendous amount of influence. I don't see you doing pundit work. And that's not an accusation towards you. That's just to say most people are not inclined to do it. I, for whatever reason, am inclined to do it, and I step up to that social responsibility.
From your point of view, why at that time didn't these rappers actually fuck with politics? May not be the president, but certain politicians.
Because black people generally know that this whole system is a sham and we don't fuck with politics. Like why waste our time with some shit that we know they not fucking with us? We know it's not even real. Like, why fuck with that? Whoever you vote for, it doesn't matter. It's all the electoral college and all this type of shit. Like, it's not real. It's an illusion of choice. Your man Trump was put out there so that Hillary can definitely get in. Exactly. They wanted to make somebody look so extreme because, especially us as black people, we don't have the same motivation that we had last time when Obama was running to go run out there and vote for him. So now, what's going to make us vote for Hillary? Only if we have the antithesis of a Hillary on the other side and almost scare us into fucking with her.
Right.
That's what the fuck they're doing. It's a win-win for Trump regardless.
Yeah? Why?
Because whether he wins or loses, he's getting paid right now. Like his name is through the roof. You know how much, this motherfucker sells suits, all kind of shit. Like, and if he was to get, if they fucked around and let him in the office, now he's gonna have access to all these government contracts. Who you think is gonna be building all this shit?
What I really worry about is going to have access to the military.
Right. And that's what they want you to be worried about. That's why they let them talk all reckless like that.
Right.
Don't let somebody reckless like that get in there. You better put Hillary in, because they've been promised her. And when she shut her mouth with that Lewinsky shit, they told her then, listen, if you shut the fuck up and support this nigga, that's my word, you're gonna be president one day. That's my word. She said, you sure? Said, you know how we do, Hillary. But our plans, you see our plans, these motherfuckers be having 10, 20-year plans. And we can't fathom that people plan that far ahead. There's 100-year plans, 1,000-year plans.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so they said, trust me, give us 15, 20 years or something. You gonna be the president. Like, all right, nigga, I trust you. I know you the head of whatever the fuck this secret society shit is, and I fucks with you.
I'm a fan of Drake. I'm a fan of the idea of Drake, so no disrespect against Drake.
What do you mean by the idea of Drake? What does that mean?
Meaning that if he has a ghostwriter, he's an idea. He's not, meaning that it's a perception created that he's not really writing the lyrics, and it's just like here, let's make this in the factory and put it out.
I'm just on top of my game right now, Vlad, and I'm just getting blessed. I'm booked 4 or 5 times a week, 60, 75K a show, man. I'm winning right now, man, and I'm just steady trying to increase my hustle.